Welcome to the MorrowMarriage podcast, guys. If you are getting value, please leave us a 5-star review because, man alive, you're helping us reach a lot of people right now, and this is amazing. Thank you for trusting us with your marriage. Guys, you're not doing it right. Bids. I'm going to say therapy sucks, but there's some great tools. Therapy sucks. There is a different kind of abuse, domestic violence, that can be a little bit more challenging to work with. I'm Cass.
And I'm Kathryn.
If you don't burn every bridge or every boat, you will fail. It's very near and dear to my heart. You're going to hear why. Fuck your family. And by the way, when I say family, I mean your blood. I mean your adoptive. I mean your friends.
We're MorrowMarriage.
Let's flip divorce statistics with the new marriage.
All right, positive, negative, and
Dun, 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 dun.
neutral. Go ahead.
I would like to right now coin the term narc out.
Baby, give them an example of a bid first.
Oh,
please.
I knew you were going to call me out. This is a Gottman thing.
Mhm.
So because I'm the Gottman person in the relationship, I knew it. Okay, so I don't know the answer to the question because I don't know where you're going with this. But a bid is, I'll tell you that I do know the answer to the question. I just don't know where you're going. A bid is any attempt to connect. So that could be getting up in the morning and saying good morning. When your marriage is in crisis, you might not even say good morning. It could be a hug. It could be a look. It could even be a sigh. A bid is any connection, any attempt to connect. So let's say you're frustrated and you're at your laptop or you're doing whatever with the kids and you do it in the vicinity of your partner. If your partner wasn't there or if nobody was there, you probably wouldn't make that sound to yourself. And so somehow something in you is asking for attention from that other person in order to connect with that person. So a bid is any attempt to connect.
All right, so where I'm going with this is two separate things, okay? The first thing is when you are using a bid, so any attempt to connect, okay, in hopes of getting something back, okay? Now you're giving to get. So this is that whole covert contract as a nice guy. And you don't necessarily understand it, right? Because you're saying, I love you. But really, you're trying to feel loved. Almost nobody's saying I love you just because they like you tell me like right in the middle of whatever we're doing, you're like, I love you, right? Or I'll be walking down the hall and she gave me this line, I fucking love you, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so, okay, that's because we want to express our love. Now go to the example she just talked about. I'm going to turn it to like, say you got the text message. So nobody's around, but you got bang, 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 4 text messages, you know, hey baby, how was your day? Or even if it was, what would you like for dinner? Okay. That's still connecting. That's still a bid. It's everything that you do to connect, to work together, to move forward. Okay. So the first things first, if you are taking like, oh, I'm so busy at work, what the fuck is your priority, man? Honestly, take a minute, send a message back, you know, and do it on your own in a way to be proactive.
That's a bid.
That's a bid.
If you respond to a bid, it's called a response.
That's right.
It's a normal human behavior. Respond.
That's right. So you're not doing it right. First and foremost is if you're doing it ever to get something.
Aside from connection.
Aside from connection. Yeah, you are attempting to connect. Okay. Now, most of you who are listening to this podcast would be so far beyond where, like she said, you could say good morning in the morning. How many times have you heard somebody justify they need their time in the morning? Listen, this one here needs her coffee in the morning.
3, actually.
Oh, yeah. And it's like she is not high energy, you know? Okay. But she and I, good morning, you know, hand touch. She's using the corner of the couch, you know, from where I come in or whatever. Like, so I would never blow that off ever. She's reaching out. She's wanting me. You know, we make it a proper attempt to just each of us try to connect all day long. And it's because we want to give and connect to our partner.
It's called turning towards also.
That's the 2 R's, by the way. R turning
towards. If the
towards.
Gottmans are hearing this, shameless
Yeah.
plug. That's their thing. So the turning towards thing, by the way, we've talked about the cascade to betrayal. You can go back and listen to it. It's 24 things that happen. The 24th is a physical affair. Now, the first thing that happens on that list of 24 is turning away or turning against instead of turning towards. So turning towards is so incredibly important. It's one of the first lessons that I teach in my course, and he's obviously adopted it. It's on our logo. So that just means that when you, number one, you submit a bid. So when you submit a bid, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm using my hands. I feel like Will Ferrell right now. I don't know what to do with my hands.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
So you turn towards as a bid. And then when you respond, you turn towards. And there's, if I could be R's with my hands. I can't say it's a heart. I mean,
Look like
made
a
a heart.
heart.
made a
yes.
heart. Looks like a couple of giraffes. No, flamingos. Anyway, baby chicks. Baby chicks.
Baby chicks.
Oh, for those of you who don't know, we just hatched 2 baby chicks
Yeah,
today.
you can hear it
But
tweeting maybe.
you can hear them, yeah.
Yeah.
So turning towards is your bid. That is you turning towards. And when you respond to your partner's bid, that is you turning towards their bid. So there's 2 parts to this little system. So if you're doing it, what he's saying is you're doing it wrong. If you're doing it not with the intent to connect, but to get something back. So I tell him, I don't, how do I put this? I'm not as needy as my husband.
No, you're not.
No.
Yeah.
So I try to give more emotionally because he needs it. So when I tell him I love him multiple times per day, it's not because I need to hear it. Right.
Yeah.
He's really good at showing me he loves me, and I don't have the same. We're just different. So when I tell him I'm doing it to connect with him, I'm doing it for him to feel good.
That's right.
Of course, if he didn't say it back, I'd be like, what the heck, man? Like,
Mhm.
so I would wonder, but I'm not doing it because I need to have him say it back. I'm doing it because sometimes he wouldn't say it. You just grab my hand. Doesn't matter. Whatever, however you're doing it. But if you're doing it because you're feeling insecure, for example, so like let's rewind a few years when he used to be really insecure. If he told me that he loved me, he probably was not doing it to connect with me. He was doing it to make sure that I
Fill
still
my own
loved,
cup. Yeah,
to fill
know.
his own cup.
Yeah.
And it's not. You're filling your cup together. You have to stop thinking about your own cup. Well, you have
You
to
do. Well, yes and no.
Yeah, excuse me. You have to have your own cup. But when you're connecting, your cups are not separate.
No, what I meant was more like you're filling your own cup because you need that validation.
Yeah.
You're trying to steal the love rather than just give love and therefore get in return.
Mhm.
So this is really, really important to understand. The second reason that you're doing it wrong is because you're not actually fucking doing it. You know, in my course, I'll use
Like
the I love you in the
like the
text.
good morning.
You know, in the beginning of my course, I talk about that, like, good mornings as a way, but I use the I love you. Okay. And I talk about how you have to say it like you mean it, right? You can't just say love you, you know, like the reason it's that I fucking love you is because we're putting passion behind it. I fucking love you.
Yeah.
You know, it's truth. Okay. And likewise, I have to teach how to text. You know, by the time we have an episode coming up on this actually, but like how often do you text? When do you text? What do you okay, here's the thing. Like, you should be at least attempting. It's called a bid. Okay.
By the way, if you just say love ya, that is still a bid. But if you're doing it like more out of rote behavior, where you are just doing it out of habit and there's no
robotic and
yeah, then it's not that. It still is a bit though. But what he's saying is very, very valid.
You got to. I just think you should put more into it,
Like
especially from where a lot of you
babe.
guys are at. Yeah.
Love you, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah, love you, babe.
I love you,
A
babe.
little facial expression and like
Now you can be proactive, is what I was saying earlier. So that is things like the text message. That is things like acts of service. You can use the 5 love languages. Like, there's a perfect example. You could be trying to use the love languages to give bids, but if you are doing it focused on getting your language met, then again, you don't realize it. So this is everything from the beginning to the end of everything you're trying to do. You've got to be conscious and aware of the connection that a bid is. Now, a response can also be, you know, if I'm working on the phone or you're working on the phone, we will say, is now a good time to talk, because we don't want to misinterpret the bid. And likewise, there are times when we both will say, I just need a minute, babe.
which is a response.
It's a response.
I say, can I, and I will often say, hey, can I talk right now? Because if he's in the middle of something big on his phone, I'm not going to talk. And he'll be like, just a sec. Just a sec is turning towards, because he's saying that just a sec means, yes, I want to give you my attention and I need a minute to finish what I'm doing.
Mhm.
That's what just a sec means. You know, if even if he says no, that is turning towards. No, not right now. He's still turning towards. He's answering your question positively, saying no, we're not right now. It doesn't mean that it's negative just because someone tells you no. You can turn. So there's turning towards, turning away, and turning against. Turning away is negative. Turning against is like contemptuous.
Mhm.
It's very, very negative, which is the worst. You know, as long as you're responding in a positive way, even if it doesn't seem positive, like you can say no to somebody's question and it's still considered turning towards.
I would encourage you, though, to find a better way.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, even if you say, so if you come in and you say, hey, super hot outside, and your husband says, that's still responding. It's still turning towards. It's called a low energy response. So you want to have a higher energy response. You want to make sure that you are engaged in that response. Otherwise, it seems like you don't care if you answer that way. Now you are answering, so you're still turning towards. So it's good. You're not on the cascade to betrayal, but you might be soon.
Yeah, and that's not a good place to be.
No.
Okay, we'll see you next time.
Bye.